What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So have you ever wondered what would happen if you accidentally removed all the lug nuts off your semi or other vehicle and you forgot to put a jack under it first, or maybe you were intending to put the jack under there and you were going to leave a couple of them tight and only loosen them just slightly, but you accidentally removed them all the way, and you want to know what would happen if you accidentally did that? That's what this video is going to be about. And the reason for this video is I did several videos with different impact wrenches testing on what will remove semi lug nuts from the DeWalt DCF 899 to this Milwaukee 2767 Snap-on MG 1200. All those videos are on my channel. You can go check those out if you'd like. But I've had a lot of people comment, a bunch of trolls and stuff, saying that you're going to forget and remove too many lug nuts and the wheel's going to fall off, truck's going to fall on you, and they're going to laugh about it and all this. I've seen similar comments in other people's videos doing stuff like this. And I kind of got an idea what's going to happen, even though I've never done this before. But we're going to see if I'm right, and then I'll explain to you if what I think is, would happen, is going to happen. If it happens that way, I'll kind of explain to you why that it may not be as exciting as you once thought. So anyway, hopefully that this Milwaukee 2767 will remove these. It's half-inch drive Milwaukee fuel impact. I do have an adapter because I only have a 3/4 inch drive socket here. Hopefully it'll remove these. It's removed all the lug nuts that I've tried to remove with it so far. So hopefully it won't let me down this time. This truck here is not on the road. This is my old truck. It's used for parts and stuff. So I'm not too worried about the damage to the wheel, damage the truck or whatever. As long as it don't fall on me, we're all good. So we're going to take this off, see what happens. Last one, you ready? Alrighty, that's all of them. Almost come off of there, didn't it? So I'm going to raise the hood up. Well, no, I'm not. The thing's about to come off. So as you can see, it has almost came off, and you can obviously tell there's no jack up under there. I can raise the hood and show you if you would like. But I really do not want to get around this thing. But I will bring you around and show you there's no jack up under there anywhere. As you can see, there's nothing supporting it. And as you can see, this truck doesn't run. It's missing a radiator and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, that was not exactly the result I was thinking. I figured it wouldn't come off that far, because usually whenever you remove these semi wheels, the studs are so long that usually it binds up on the studs. When you're trying to take it off, you have to wiggle it to get them off, especially on the back, because the studs are longer. But that right there came off further than I thought it would. But you could obviously tell when I was taking that last one off that you know, something was going on there, because it was a whole lot of pressure on it. It wasn't just unspinning. So if you're taking one off and you see that and it's not backing off like it should after you loosen it up, you start seeing the wheel gap open up, you can obviously tell something's going on. But if you do accidentally happen to do that like this, it is probably going to damage your wheel on the inside, and it's going to damage your studs. It's going to mess the threads up on your studs. Because this is a parts truck, for the sake of the video, I'm not real concerned about that. And if we try to tighten this up back here, we're not going to get an accurate torque on getting this bolted back on if we don't get a jack up under it. Probably going to get some metal shavings or aluminum shavings off of the wheel and the stud in behind the face of the wheel. So I would not trust this to put nuts on it and snug it back up and have an accurate torque reading. But for the video, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the nuts back on there and suck it back up, just so that, you know, this thing doesn't fall off or whatever. At least that's an idea. I'm going to shake this just for the video to see what happens. Not much. So I'm going to see if I can get a couple of these nuts started back on here. The wheel is bound up on each one of these studs right here. That's about the only thing that's holding it, really. Well, I guess the bottom is holding it some, but these is the next one that's going to pop off. I don't think it's going anywhere. I was really hoping it wasn't going to come off the top ones, but it came off a little further than I thought it was going to, actually. So we're going to see what it takes to get them snug back up there and get it pulled back on there. As I say, I definitely would not recommend this for the video. That's what we're doing. We're just going to go a little bit along until we get these start pull up, so I can get nuts on these. It's better to start, you know, a little bit on each bolt is a lot better than trying to hammer on one bolt. You're just going to mess the threads up more. See if we can get a couple more of these started up here now to get us a little more leverage on the upper side. We'll be able to pull it on a little better. Bring you over here and show you so you can see the big gap we got behind the wheel here now. See this big gap we have in here all the way around? Like, you can stick your finger in there. I don't want to stick my finger in there just in case, but the gap's big enough. So we're going to try to pull this all the way up, and like I say, this is not recommended. You're just going to strip the aluminum from inside the wheel off, and your threads off your studs, and it's not going to properly torque the wheel. It'd be very unsafe to drive it like that, but we're going to do it for the video. let the impact wrench cool a minute. It's still working, but it's still got pretty warm. You can see how unsafe this would be to try to do this and torque this wheel back on there that way without a jack on it, because it's taking forever to pull it up. And you think it's tight, but it's really not tight. It's still got a gap there. If you move the truck, that wheel will be loose and it'll start flopping. So anyway, definitely don't recommend this. And if the studs had been shorter, there's a high chance that that wheel would have come on off and the truck would have hit the ground. But I was pretty confident that the studs are long enough most of these times. Whenever you start taking these lug nuts off and you start wiggling the wheel to get the wheel off the studs, they usually bind up. You have to kick them or whatnot on one side or the other, pull it off pretty straight. So I was pretty confident that the wheel wasn't going to come all the way off. So we're going to try to snug this up a little more. Alright, so I got it snugged back up on there so it won't fall off on nobody that's out here messing around with it. I definitely would not drive this like this. As you can see, the wheel is not centered. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but if you see the back side of this hub right here, how it's a lip right there on the wheel, the upper side is flush. You can also tell on the lug nuts right here, compared to where they were fastened and how it's fastened now, that the wheel has moved up, so the hub has dropped down, so it's not centered. So if you were to drive this, pretty sure you'd have a bad vibration, and the wheel is probably going to come loose because it's got aluminum shavings between the wheel and the hub from the studs on the threads and the aluminum being pulled up like that, and it's not torqued right, and I would not drive this anywhere like that. Alright guys, that about wraps up the video. A similar thing to what I thought was going to happen happened. I figured it was going to get hung up on the studs, as I say. I did not think it was going to come off that far before it stopped. It kind of had me a little bit worried there at the very last. But anyway, it didn't come all the way off. I definitely would not drive the truck anywhere like this. I would remove that, inspect it, clean the aluminum shavings out between there, and properly torque the wheel back on if the wheel is not damaged. The wheel very well may be damaged to where it cannot be reused. But anyway, we'll wrap this video up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.